everybody, welcome back. This is our last video. We started with matting and got a good way, I think we actually almost finished last time. So I finished the matting and did what little embellishment I was going to do. I really didn't do it much in the way of embellishments here, but I'll show you what I made for the various tuck spots and things and how we finished up this album. So the cover was already on it. I used the locomotive paper for the back and then continued it around on the spine. And again, I'm not giving you measurements for this because you pretty much just need to measure the space and then deduct the amount that you want to have for a reveal, okay? And then underneath this mat, I put a piece of black seam binding, which I tied. Let me move this so you can see it. Have I got a white strap? Which I tied to a Tim Holtz bulldog clip, and then I just clip it to the front of the book. It's one of my favorite closures for these kind of books. Sort of, I don't know, masculine type books. I use it a lot actually. I've even used it on more feminine books and put a jewel here and big bows. I just like this closure. Okay, so there's the book. This was, you know how to do this. This was already done. So let me show you. This little square, what I want you to do pretty much right away is cut all of these from one of your back covers, the little stamp, you know, the little, I don't know what you call them, little demonstration pieces that show what the pages look like. And I matted them all on black and I used them throughout. They're pretty much the only embellishment I used. So cut those out. And I made a tuck spot, and I just took one of the cut aparts, matted it, and I used the sort of the title one for the paper, and I'm using that here, okay? And then this was one of the papers, and I just cut the saying apart, matted it, and used, pardon me, oh, not that. I used one of my We Are Memory Keepers crocodiles. This one has the scallop and stub, and the stub makes what looks like a ticket, and that's what I used for this. Okay, that's this one. And then these are just cut aparts, which I did not mat because they have really pretty backs. And then this is a photo mat, and let me give you the measurements. You can make these whatever size you want. I made mine 5.5 by 3.5. and just matted them with the craft and used the 1/4 inch round on my other crocodile, and those go in there. Okay. Might as well leave my ruler out, we might need it again. Alright, so let's pull that up a little bit, and then that goes there. Alright, and then this is just a pocket, and in it is another one of the cut aparts. Again, I didn't mat it, and another one of the same type of photo mats. So very easy there. And this is the side pocket. This is 5.5 by 5.5. I rounded with the 1/2 inch rounder, just the 2 outer pieces. You could certainly do all 4. It probably would go in your book easier. I kind of wish I had done all 4. And you need 3 of these. And then it's just matted with the craft and plain on the back. And that goes in there. Okay. Then this opens, and this is the flap, and I just put a piece of craft here for the for a photo mat. And then in the pocket, I did the same thing you've seen me do before. I've got the one photo mat. You can see one photo mat, one cut apart. Again, I did not mat it, and one small cut apart, which I didn't mat. Some of these I matted, some of them I didn't. I really liked the backs, so I left quite a few of them plain. Oh, I didn't. Looks like I didn't glue this mat down. Okay, I'll go back and do that. There's the mat for that. This pocket, again, I put the one of the little cut apart pieces from the cover, the back cover. I've got one of the photo mats, one of the small cut aparts, and this is a square graphic 45 tag with just a little brown seam binding on it. And I may go back and mat that later, I haven't decided. I didn't do it yet because I don't have the die for that. I'm gonna get it, but I kind of like the way they look plain, so I may leave them. Now here's our belly band, and in the belly band I have a tag that I made myself using just one of the papers And my crocodile, this is the scallop side, and then this is one of the cut-aparts. And as a stopper, I just took, let me see if I have it, just a punch. This is a 1.5 inch punch. I put just a little scrap of the paper on the black cardstock, glued it together, punched it out, then cut the circle in half and just glued it there as a stop so that the whatever's in the belly band doesn't fall out. Okay, and then this is the envelope that we made, and I didn't put anything in it. I didn't feel like it needed it. And then I've just got one of the photo mats in that tuck spot that we made. And there's nothing in the envelope, but I did add the mat there, if I hadn't already, can't remember. And there is a magnet. I can't remember if we'd done the magnet. And then when I matted a tag that you're going to see further back, it left this little circle of paper, and it was just sitting on the table, and I just liked it, so I stuck it there. Okay, and then that folds over, and this is, of course, the big centerpiece that we made, which you've seen. I cut an arc here and a straight here in the mat with my craft knife and just tucked photo mats in. Okay, and I told you already how to make it, but you just slice there, slice there, slice here. Make sure you leave a good inch at least from the nearest edge, 3/4 of an inch to an inch, because you don't want to tear. Okay, so that was easy enough. And again, there's a side pocket. And then here we have just tuck spots, again made with those little matted squares, and I did mat these cut aparts. This is from the paper, this was not a cut apart. And I used my crocodile to make the top. Okay, and this was the big fold out. Now, if you remember, I didn't put a magnet here, and I wished I had. And this turned out to be one of those happy mistakes that turned out better than had I done it correctly in the first place. I ended up putting a magnet, put the magnet right here. This is that clock sheet. I just used a die that I had. I don't know, how big a circle is that? Hang on, looks like a 2-inch circle? 2.5 inch circle. Put the magnet here, covered it with that, and then put a matching magnet on this side under this circle, and then I added another circle purely for decorative purposes, all from the clocks. I left this one as a tuck spot, and I'm so happy with it. I feel like it ended up a much better looking page because of it. So don't worry when you make mistakes, sometimes you're going to end up with something better. So that's that, and then it folds out. These are the 2 tuck spots I just showed you. And then on the back are the clock pages, and I didn't put anything there. I didn't want to add any more bulk, and you could put photos here or whatever you wanted. And then I didn't add anything more to our pinwheel. Here's a tuck spot that I made again with one of those little squares and just a cut apart. Here is another cut apart. Again, I didn't put anything in the back because it was so pretty. I want to cover it up. And a photo mat. Side pocket insert, and then again one of the graphic 45 tags, one of the cut aparts, and this is just, these aren't tuck spots, they're just decorative to add a little interest to the pocket, and that's one of the from the back cover. Here's a side belly band, and I put 2 photo mats and a matted cut apart. I have another half, the other half of that circle stop I made for the other belly band, which I was going to put here, but nothing seems to be sliding too much out, like it doesn't seem to be at risk, so I'm leaving it for now. And then in the back, this page is the little flip, and I just have a photo mat and a matted cut apart that are in the flip, and they're held by that magnet. There's a magnet right there. And then here I decorated the secretarial pocket, the little pocket on the front, with another one of those squares. It has just 2 small cut aparts in it. And then this tag, and this is just a photo mat. It's larger than all the other photo mats. So let me give you the measurement. And this one is opposite. I made it out of craft and matted it with the black. And then later I decided to do the scallop, so the matting's a little funky, but that's okay. It's 5 3/8 by 4 1/4. And there's a lot of room here. You could make a big square mat. You could, whatever you like. And then this is one of the Graphic 45, the regular tags. I used the die that came with it and used one of the pattern papers. And then it also comes with this gear die. And I cut that out of the black. And then I've got the black seam button. And that is everything I did to finish this book. If you have any questions about how I did any of these things, or you need help, I'm just noticing that's a little tucked up. Just go ahead and ask, and I will do my best to answer your questions. I really kept it very simple. I think you'll be able to manage pretty well. There's nothing too complicated to finish the book. So that is it. Let me go ahead and clip that. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, I made it with this very specific paper, but you can make this with any paper at all, and I think it particularly lends itself to a paper that's kind of dramatic and has big designs on it, which Stamperia, Graphic 45, any of those type of papers. But of course, I think it would look good with any. So feel free again to ask me if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching. There is a playlist for this album. Just check my playlists and enjoy, and reach out if you have any problems. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for my next project. Thank you so much.